The sun was just rising in Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso, and Ibrahim Traoré had made a decision that would go down in African history that day. The luxurious office building of the French mining company Montagny d'Or Corporation, which had been exploiting the country's gold for years, would be demolished today, and in its place a hospital for the people would be built. This was not just the demolition of a building, but the destruction of the colonial mentality. Everything started 3 days earlier during Traoré's village visit. He was meeting with people in Koudougou village near Boulassu. An elderly woman clung to Traoré's hands, crying, "Mr. President, my son died in a mine accident." She said, "The French make them work 20 hours a day. When they get sick, they don't take them to hospital. There is no hospital anyway. We have no money either." Traoré held the woman's hands. "Tell me everything, Auntie. Tell me everything," he said. The woman continued, "They've been extracting gold here for 20 years. They've made billions of dollars, but they haven't even built a school in our village. There's no hospital at all. The nearest hospital is 100 kilometers away. Our children die on the road." That night, Traoré couldn't sleep. He called defense. "Minister General Bamba, General, what do we know about this?" "Montagny d'Or," he asked. Palmer brought the files. "Mr. President, this company has been in our country since 1998. They make $2 billion in revenue per year. Their tax is only 3%. 2,500 workers are employed, but below minimum wage." Traoré angrily hit. "Thievable. They've been stealing our people's gold for 25 years. And what have they given in return? Nothing. General, this situation will end tomorrow morning. We are demolishing that building and will build a hospital in its place." General Bamba worried. "But Mr. President, France will go crazy. There will be a diplomatic crisis. They'll go to international court." Traoré stood up. "Let them go," he said. "We'll also tell about 25 years of exploitation. We'll tell about child workers. We'll tell about dead miners. We'll tell about polluted rivers. Let the world hear it now." The next morning, Traoré held a meeting with his team. The Interior Minister, Health Minister, Public Works Minister, and Police Chief were ready. The plan was simple. First, the company executives would be given 24 hours. They would evacuate the building. Then demolition would begin. At 10 would Traoré's special representative. Coral Cafando went to Montagny d'Or's luxury office. The 10-story glass building was shining in the sun. There was already panic inside. French CEO Pierre Dubois was sweating. Next to him, the company's Africa operations manager, Jean-Claude Marot, and legal advisor Marie Leblanc were frantically collecting files. Colonel Cafando read the official notice. "The state of Burkina Faso has seized this building. It will be evacuated. Within 24 hours, all personnel will leave the country. Your mining license has been cancelled." Dubois shouted, "This is illegal. We have an agreement. We've invested billions of euros. France won't allow this." Cafando is calm. "Mr. Dubois, you've illegally enriched yourselves for 25 years. Now, the game is over. Either you leave, or we'll make you leave." Dubois grabbed the phone. He was calling Paris. "Call the Eliza Palace. Get the foreign minister. This is a declaration of war," he was shouting. Meanwhile, hundreds of people began gathering at the building. Mine workers, mothers who had lost family members, those who went down to mines as children. They were all there. They had banners. "We want our gold back. We want a hospital. We want justice." Traoré also came. He walked among the people. People were crying, hugging. A mine worker said, "Mr. President, I've been working in this mine for 20 years. My lungs are ruined. I have no money for treatment." The French didn't consider Ushuman. Traoré took the microphone and began speaking. "My brothers and sisters, today is a historic day. 25 years of exploitation is ending. This building will be demolished. A hospital will be built in its place. Now your children will be treated here for free." The crowd erupted. "Long life Traoré, down with the colonizers." They shouted. Tubis was watching from the window above. "This man is crazy," he said to the French executives next to him. "He'll finish us. We must get instructions from Paris immediately." The instructions from Paris didn't delay. The French foreign minister appeared on television. "This is an unacceptable attack," he said. "French companies cannot be seized. We will use all our legal rights." But Traoré was determined. Towards evening, he made a second announcement. France is threatening us, but we are not afraid. 25 years is enough. Tomorrow morning at 10, this building will be demolished. That night there was frantic activity at Montaigne. Door trucks came. Secret documents were transported. Computers were dismantled. Safes were emptied. Dubois looked at the building. One last time they'll pay for this revenge. He said next to him, Security Chief Philip Durand said, Mr. Dubois, maybe they're right. We've been here for 25 years and haven't even built a hospital. Dubois turned angrily. Whose side are you on? Fipe. We came here to make money, not a charity. In the morning at 9 Zhujiu, the demolition crews arrived. The people seeing the dozers, excavators, and cranes cheered with joy. The area was full of people. Tens of thousands had gathered. History was being written. Traoré was at the head of the demolition crew. He was wearing a helmet and had a megaphone in his hand. Today we're not just demolishing a building. He said, we're demolishing the colonial mentality. Today Burkina Faso truly becomes independent. At exactly 10 Wati, the first excavator blow was struck. The glass building shook. The people screamed with joy. Drums were played. Songs were sung. With each blow, the building crumbled a bit more. 2 hours later, the 10-story building was leveled. Only a pile of rubble remained. Traoré climbed on the debris and spoke. This is how colonialism ends, he said. Now it's time to build. Right there, the hospital project was announced. Plans were shown. It would be a modern hospital, 200-bed capacity. It would have operating rooms, emergency service, maternity unit, everything. And it would be completely free. A mine worker hugged Trout crying. Mr. President, my wife died of cancer, he said. We couldn't find money for treatment. If only this hospital had existed earlier. Trey touched the man's shoulder. I'm sorry, brother, he said. But from now on, Noon will die from lack of money. You promise? France's reaction was harsh. The ambassador was recalled. Economic sanction threats were made. A campaign against Burkina Faso was started in the EU. But something unexpected happened. Mahali leader Amy Goa made a support statement. Brother TR did the right thing. He said, we're also reviewing French companies. Support messages came from Niger, Guinea, Senegal. The African Union made a statement. Every country has the right to control its own resources. We stand with Burkina Faso. Even the South African leader called and congratulated. Traoré continued. He said, Africa needs leaders like you. Hospital construction began immediately. The people worked voluntarily. Everyone did what they could. Women brought food. Young people carried mortar. The elderly prayed. Traoré visited the construction every day. He worked with the workers. He carried bricks, mixed mortar. One day a worker said, Mr. President, don't tire yourself. We'll do it. Traoré smiled. This hospital belongs to all of us. He said, how can it be if I don't lay even one brick? The People's Hospital will be built by the people. During construction, an interesting event occurred. Former mine workers came with gold dust in their hands. Mr. President, they said, we saved this in our pockets for years. It's little, but this is what we have for the hospital. An old miner stepped forward. His name was Musa True. He shared the same surname as the president. Mr. President, I've been working in the mine for 30 years. He said, I was 15 when the French first came. They told us you'll be rich, but we weren't the ones who got rich. Now I'm 70 years old, and for the first time I have hope. Traoré hugged the old man, Uncle Musa. He said, you're this country's hero. You carried gold on your back for 30 years now. You'll be treated in the hospital. I promise you'll get the best care. Musa cried. Mr. President, my only dream was for my grandchildren to go to school. He said, now they are both going to school and can be treated when they get sick. May God be pleased with you. Traoré was moved. Keep this gold dust. He said, it's your right. Save it. Your children will need it. No. They said, this hospital is for our children. Please accept it. That gold dust was recorded as the first donation to the hospital. It was displayed like a museum. This hospital was built with the people's labor. It said the French media declared Traoré a dictator. The crazy man who drives away investments. They wrote headlines. But the African media was writing the opposite. Hero, leader, the people's man, true independence. When Dubois returned to France, he spoke to the press. We served that country for 25 years. He said we provided employment. We paid taxes. This is ingratitude. But the figures coming from Burkina Faso were different. In 25 years, $50 billion worth of gold had been extracted. The total tax paid was $1 billion. That's 2%. Traoré spoke at the UN. Is this fair? He asked. Our goal should build our hospitals, should build our schools. Otherwise, what's the meaning of independence? The world press was divided in two. Western media criticized Traoré, Eastern media supported him. But the African people took a clear stance. Traoré is right. Hospital construction progressed at record speed. Construction planned to finish in 6 months was completed in 4 months because everyone worked voluntarily. Engineers, doctors, workers, students. Construction began immediately. The people worked voluntarily. Everyone did what they could. Women brought food. Young people carried mortar. The elderly prayed. Traoré visited the construction every day. He worked with the workers. He carried bricks, mixed mortar. One day a worker said, "Mr. President, don't tire yourself. We'll do it." Traoré smiled. "This hospital belongs to all of us." He said, "How can it be if I don't lay even one brick? The people's hospital will be built by the people." During construction, an interesting event occurred. Former mine workers came with gold dust in their hands. "Mr. President," they said, "we saved this in our pockets for years. It's little, but this is what we have for the hospital." An old miner stepped forward. His name was Moussa Trao. He shared the same surname as the president. "Mr. President, I've been working in the mine for 30 years. He said, I was 15 when the French first came. They told us you'll be rich, but we weren't the ones who got rich. Now I'm 70 years old and for the first time I have hope." Traoré hugged the old man. "Uncle Moussa," he said, "you're this country's hero. You carried gold on your back for 30 years now. You'll be treated in the hospital. I promise you'll get the best care." Moussa cried, "Mr. President, my only dream was for my grandchildren to go to school." He said, "Now they are both going to school and can be treated when they get sick. May God be pleased with you." Traoré was moved. "Keep this gold dust," he said. "It's your right. Save it. Your children will need it." "No," they said. "This hospital is for our children. Please accept it." That gold dust was recorded as the first donation to the hospital. It was displayed like a museum. This hospital was built with the people's labor. It said the French media declared Traoré a dictator, the crazy man who drives away investments. They wrote headlines, but the African media was writing the opposite. Hero, leader, the people's man, true independence. When Dubois returned to France, he spoke to the press. "We served that country for 25 years. He said we provided employment. We paid taxes. This is ingratitude." But the figures coming from Burkina Faso were different. In 25 years, $50 billion worth of gold had been extracted. The total tax paid was $1 billion. That's 2%. Traoré spoke at the UN. "Is this fair?" he asked. "Our goal should build our hospitals, should build our schools. Otherwise, what's the meaning of independence?" The world press was divided in two. Western media criticized Traoré, Eastern media supported him. But the African people took a clear stance. Traoré is right. Hospital construction progressed at record speed. Construction planned to finish in 6 months was completed in 4 months because everyone worked voluntarily. Engineers, doctors, workers, students. Construction began immediately. The people worked voluntarily. Everyone did what they could. Women brought food. Young people carried mortar. The elderly prayed. 2 weeks after construction began, an unexpected visitor came. It was Jacques Bertrand, former Africa director of Montanador. He had worked at the company for 10 years, then resigned because his conscience wasn't at ease. He said to Traoré, "Mr. President, I want to help you. I know all the company's dirty laundry, child workers working without safety measures, environmental pollution. I can document everything. If you go to court, I'll testify for you." Traoré asked, "Why now, Mr. Bertrand? You were silent for years." Veteran lowered his head. I was a coward, he said. I had a family. I was afraid of losing my job, but enough is enough. Someone needs to speak. Your courage gave me courage too. These confessions created a bombshell effect in international press. Lemon wrote that African workers were worked like slaves. The Guardian put the headline, "Environmental Disaster. Montana door shares fell 40%. When opening day came, 100,000 people gathered. Leaders came from all Africa. The press was there. The world was watching. A surprise guest also attended the opening. Young activist group members from France. Justice pour Lafria opened a banner. Traoré is right into colonialism. Traoré began his speech like this. 6 months ago there was a colonial building here. Now there's a place of healing. This is independence. But this is just the beginning. We'll build such hospitals, schools, universities throughout Africa. Our resources will now be used for our people. During the speech, an interesting moment occurred. A little girl ran towards Traoré. Security tried to stop her, but Traoré said, "Let her." The girl hugged Traoré president uncle. She said, "My mother is sick. Will she get better now?" Traoré picked up the girl and spoke into the microphone. "Yes, little one. Your mother will get better. All mothers will get better, I promise you," the crowd cried. This scene appeared in all world press. Victory of humanity. Headlines were written. The ribbon was cut. Fireworks exploded. The people cried, laughed, danced. The first patient was a child. He had lost his leg in a mine accident. He came for a prosthetic. But a surprise moment occurred. The child's father stepped forward and took the microphones. "Mr. President," he said, "I worked in this mine for 10 years. My son's leg is gone, my lungs are gone. But today there's hope. I know we'll heal. We're lucky to have a leader like you." Just then, another surprise happened. Ambulances began arriving at the hospital. Patients were being brought from neighboring villages. Patients who had been waiting for treatment for years. 100 patients came the first day, 200 the second. A week later, the hospital was completely full. Traoré held an emergency meeting. "We'll expand this hospital." He said, "We'll build side buildings. No one will be turned away." In the hospital, everything was free. Medicines, operations, treatments. Where does the financing come from? To those who asked from the gold mines, said Traoré, now working for the people. France agreed to apply economic sanctions, but couldn't succeed. China, Russia, Turkey immediately filled the gap. New agreements were signed, fairer agreements. Dubois gave an interview a year later. "Am I sorry?" he asked. "No, but maybe Traoré was right. We were paying very little tax, taking too much profit." This confession created a bombshell effect. Other African countries also took action. Mining agreements were reviewed, taxes were increased, social responsibility projects became mandatory. Ghana, Tanzania, Zambia. Similar movements began. The Traoré effect, wrote the Financial Times. 3 months after Sue. The hospital opened. An interesting development occurred. The World Health Organization visited the hospital and declared it an exemplary health facility. With its modern equipment, free service, and community participation, it was shown as a model to other African countries. Wujo representative Dr. Sarah Mitchell said to Traoré, "This is not just a hospital. This is a revolution. You're showing how health service should be. All African leaders should come and see." Here, Traoré smiled. "Dr. Mitchell," he said, "our secret is simple. Loving the people and working for them. There's no other formula." Traoré visited the hospital in the second year. 10,000 patients had been treated. 1,000 operations had been performed. 100 babies had been born. He asked the chief physician, "How's it going? Is everything all right?" The chief physician smiled. "Mr. President, this hospital is a miracle. They come from villages. They come with hope. They leave healed, and it's free." Traoré saw the elderly woman in the hospital garden. It was the woman he had met in the village. She had come with her grandson for treatment. When the woman saw Traoré, she cried. "Mr. President," she said, "my son died, but my grandson will live. Thanks to you, may God be pleased." Traoré kissed the woman's hand. "Mother," he said, "we took your son's revenge. Here's the hospital. Now, no one's child will die on the road." In the evening, as the sun was setting, Traoré went up to the hospital roof. In the distance, the old mine pits could be seen. Now Burkina Faso flags were waving there. General Bamba was with him. "Mr. President," he said, "Francis still threatening. They'll take it to court." Traoré smiled. "Let them," he said. "We'll also sue. Let's tell about $50 billion worth of gold. Let's tell about dead workers. Let's tell about polluted nature. Let's see who's right." The general asked, "What if new investors don't come? What if the economy suffers?" Traoré showed the hospital. "This is economy," I said. "Healthy people, educated people, happy people. The rest is details." That night, Traoré wrote in his diary, "Today I'm proud. We demolished a building but built 1,000 hopes. Let France be angry. My people are smiling and nothing else matters." And really the people were smiling. Children being treated in the hospital were smiling. Mothers were smiling. Workers were smiling. Burkina Faso was smiling. This is how Traoré's demolition of the French mining company's building and building a hospital in its place went down in history. It wasn't just a demolition but a rebirth. It wasn't just a hospital but hope, independence, dignity, and all of Africa was watching. Learning change was possible. Justice was possible. Governance for the people was possible. Traoré had shown it. 5 years after, the hospital opened, statistics were announced. In 5 years, 1 million patients had been treated. 50,000 operations had been performed. 10,000 babies had been born. Maternal mortality rate had decreased by 80%. Child deaths had almost dropped to zero. Former mine worker Moussa Trout was working as a volunteer at the hospital. He was guiding patients, giving them moral. One day when he saw Traoré, he said, "Mr. President, I'm 75 years old. I'm spending the last years of my life in the hospital. But this time it's different. I'm not extracting gold. I'm saving lives." Next to where Montanador's old building was, there wasn't just a hospital. Now a vocational school had also been built. Young people were being trained as health technicians, nurses, lab technicians instead of mining. School principal Aminata Diallo was proudly explaining, "Our graduates work, not just here, but throughout Burkina Faso. We're no longer dependent on foreigners." Relations with France slowly normalized. The new French government took a more constructive attitude. They even offered development aid. Traoré politely declined. "Thank you," he said, "but we need trade, not aid. Trade on equal terms." Finally, Dubois' son came to Burkina Faso as a young doctor. He said he wanted to volunteer at the hospital. "I want to correct my father's mistakes." He said Traoré accepted him. "The past is past," he said. "Let's look to the future." And the hospital continued working. Every day new hopes were born. Every day new lives were saved. Montaigne, those magnificent building, was forgotten, but the hospital erected in its place would live forever as a symbol of hope in the people's hearts. This was Traoré's story. What was important was not to destroy but to build, not revenge but justice, not the past but the future. And he built that future brick by brick, hope by hope, love by love. Traoré stood up. "Let them go." He said, "We'll also tell about 25 years of exploitation. We'll tell about child workers. We'll tell about dead miners. We'll tell about polluted rivers. Let the world hear it now. There's something else. General, I'm going to show you a document that will shake the whole world." Traoré took out a secret file from his safe. "Thus are Montaigne d'Or's real accounts," he said. "A spy leaked them tous. Look what it says here. They've made 50 billion profit in 25 years, but showed 5 billion in official records. Where's $45 billion? They've evaded taxes, done money laundering, everything is here." General Bamba was stunned. "We'll win the case with these documents," he said. Traoré nodded. "Not just the case," he said. "We'll open all of Africa's eyes. Look what else is here. They paid child workers $1 a day. They made $2 million profit a year by not buying safety equipment. They hid work accidents. They showed dead workers as missing." Just then, the phone rang. The presidential spokesperson was calling. "Mr. President," he said, "the French ambassador wants to see you." He said, "It's very urgent." Traoré laughed. "Let him come." He said, "Let's see what he'll say." The ambassador came sweating. "Mr. President," he said, This misunderstanding can be corrected. The company is ready to pay your compensation. On $10 million, they'll make a donation for the hospital. Traoré stood up. Ambassador, he said, 10 million. They stole 50 billion and give 10 million, is that it? Could tell them either 50 billion or, quote, there's neither way. Just then, gunshots came from outside. News came over the radio. Mr. President, there's an armed group outside the palace. Probably. Plan B. Traoré was calm. I was expecting it anyway. Let the special forces handle it. These are just pawns. The real players are elsewhere. Half an hour later, news came. The armed group was caught. Among them was Montana's private security team. They had come to prevent the demolition. Traoré laughed. They're late. He said, the building has already been demolished, but add this to the criminal. File 2, armed assault attempt. Let's see how France will explain this. The hospital is still working today. Every day, hundreds of patients come get treated, and each one has the same hope on their face. We are not alone anymore. Our state is with us. Our leader is with us. This was the real revolution. Without weapons, without blood, but effective. Destroying was easy. Building was hard. But Traoré had succeeded at both, and young leaders from all over Africa. Come and visit that hospital. How did you do it? They ask. Traoré's answer is always the same. Love your people. Live for your people. The rest comes by itself.